Hi everybody, welcome to my ambitious art. I'm Lizzie and I want to thanks for joining me here for part 2 of my wood turning, woodworking, resin and wood clock. In case you didn't see the first video, I have a link in my description, so check that out if you missed the first part. The first part covered all the fabrication of the pieces that I am using to build this clock, and this part will cover the assembly section of the clock, and then you will see the finished item here. So I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You're in store for more fun videos in the future. So enjoy watching. Thanks. So I'm showing you a few little recap pieces of video that were in the first part. Make sure you check those out so you can see how these different components of the clock were made. I left off using sanding sealer on the base pieces. The thing I forgot to do was to round off the top edges of my supports, and this is what I'm doing now before I get these sealed with sanding sealer. Now I decided to put a little crossbar on the top of the shorter supports, and the reason being is because this is a nice little handle to pick up the clock from the back side. Just gives it a little bit more stability. So in order for these supports to fit on my base, in addition to using just wood glue, I'm going to be drilling holes for some dowels. That way the dowel will stick into the base and those supports. I'm using a 3/8 inch bit on my drill press to drill all of the holes. So now that I have all the holes drilled and my dowels cut to size, I'm using wood glue to make sure that they are secure. After I have all the pieces glued in place and put in to their places with the dowels, I'm going to clamp everything together and let it sit for a little while. So the last clock that I did had lighting, which I plan to do on this clock, but the lighting that I had, the housing for the batteries was much smaller, and I was able to fit this housing inside the circle inside the clock. But now that I have this pendulum, which is quite a bit bigger, it's taking too much space, plus this is bigger, and the reason being is because this has a remote control switch, and this will turn my lights on, obviously, but it will also make them do different functions like that, which is kind of nice. So I don't want to give that up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this housing outside my back door, and I'll show that later on. But right now, I'm going to just make sure that my lights get attached on the outside of the ring for backlighting, and also for the inside, since I have my resin piece inside. I thought it would be nice to have some of these lights show also. So I'm going to attach the lights now, and we'll go from there. Here you can see I'm just using hot glue to attach the lights to the outside of the spacer. So I made this little housing according to the measurements that I took to keep the battery pack in. It's got a little USB port on the bottom, so I have a little cutout there, and it fits right inside. And the USB cord will be able to connect to there without having the little back door of the clock open. So now I'm taking a piece of also mahogany, I'm making a circle according to the diameter of the inside space there, and I'm going to be cutting this on the bandsaw. I'm taking just a little thin strip of wood to use as a little block, so when you shut the door it doesn't cave into the inside. It'll just shut and be flush with the back of the outside clock rear face. As you can see, the circle fits perfectly, perfectly well on the back side. I'm going to glue this housing onto the back side, but first I'm going to put a hinge at the top of the door. That way it's very simple to open. So one thing that I needed to do was to just carve out a little bit of a groove so that wire can come out of the door without having the door be open. I'm using some CA glue to attach this little housing to the back of the door. You can see the little screws popped out from the back side of that rear door, so I'm going to grind them down with a grinder and put some hot glue. Here I am using a semi-gloss spray lacquer, which I'm going to be using on all the pieces, and they'll each get about 3, maybe 4 coats to finish. I'm using a tabletop epoxy resin coating on the inner face of my clock. First I painted it on, then I poured it on and used my butane torch to pop all the air bubbles. So now that I have this finished, I will sand it down because there's some little bubbles here, and finish it up and obviously take that out. This clock mechanism is going to go on here, but what I'm finding is that it's going to create a shadow. So I want to paint this maybe a wood tone color so it'll blend in a little bit better, and it won't it won't show up black. Now I'm gluing the two faces together with some wood glue. And now it's time to secure all the rest of the lights, and these are going to go on the back side of the resin part of the clock face. So now it's time to attach the mechanism, and it's a kit, so it comes with all the necessary nuts and washers. And after this is done, I will take the little hour and second and minute hands. These will be in copper, which kind of goes with the gold leaf because I do have some copper gold leafing in that mix of the resin with the potpourri. Now I'm just lining all the pieces up on my table according to my drawing, and I want to make sure that I have enough space for that pendulum, so I'm just double checking all my measurements. Once I have this done, then I can clamp all the pieces together and get my pieces screwed together. I'm going to mark a little spot where I'm going to drill with a 3/8 inch drill bit to countersink my pieces. The screws will be inside and they'll be covered with little button dowels. This is the last piece I'm putting together. It's the short side of the support on the base support on the bottom. This will be drilled and attached to the longer base section. So the last thing I need to do is to simply attach the USB port onto my battery housing and slip it inside that little case right there and just plug it in. There you have it, the finished clock. I hope you liked it. Please leave a comment in my comment section. Just tell me what you think. You don't like it, you like it, give me your thoughts. I'd love to hear all your input. So that being said, I want to thanks everybody for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful and creative day. And stay safe, everybody. Take care. Until next time. Bye.